Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifene. Missing in action, but back in action.
Yes, I'm back. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Victoria Tundu. MQ Abiola.
Good morning.
Yes, this is a different hairdo altogether.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see what I saw yesterday, something that looks like Whoopi Goldberg hairdo.
What a compliment. You know I love Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, you were looking somehow like her yesterday.
I love
but
her.
before I could even appreciate that enough, you've changed it.
I get bored.
You have a way of changing
I
these
get
things.
so bored.
Now let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Yes, just before the lead story, I think this is an important story. Just above the masthead, Muslim ticket, how Akonde's book put a lie to Tinubu's denial. I think this is a must read because many have been keeping watch on this Atiku Tinubu spat who formed the ACN. Was somebody a joiner? Yes, according to Akonde's book, and the excerpts are there. I'm sure that book will sell like hotcake among politicians because clearly Atiku was a co-founder of the ACN according to this book, not just a joiner as claimed by the Tinubu camp. And indeed, the Tinubu camp wanted Atiku to pick Tinubu as running mate. That was their expectation. And they were not granted that. They were disappointed when Atiku picked Ben Obi. There in Akonde's book. Remember when that book was launched? It also raised some dust, caused furore even in the presidency then. But we move over to the lead story of this day. 2 captains, 1 soldier in heroic deaths as Guards Brigade in routine patrol is ambushed in Buhari. Terrorists kill 3, abduct school principal, 6 others in Katsina. Yes, that's the president's home state. Law school moves call to bar to Jabi. Anonymous fresh terror alert in FCT Lagos. 4 other states. Wase, yes, that's the deputy speaker. DSS issued 44 security reports before Kuje attack. Senate passes bill for commission against arms proliferation. Ex-MN JTF commander urges federal government to name terrorism sponsors. Kogi denies explosion in government house. Yes, other newspapers are also reporting this major breach, you will say, in the seat of government, the Federal Capital Territory. Now, the Guardian newspaper reporting this story. Senate mom, Abuja residents on high alert over planned attack. Wase, DSS submitted 44 security reports before Kuje prison attack. Attack on presidential guards troops. Army lieutenant, 5 soldiers missing in action. Terrorists assembling weapons to attack Buhari state. FCT Lagos says NSCDC appointing northerners as head of security institutions. Worsened situation, says Hiriwa. Federal government procures 6 attack helicopters from Turkey. Yes, the Vanguard newspaper also report. Not the Vanguard newspaper. Now, the issue of this attack on the Brigade of Guards, whether they were on patrol or they were actually going after these terrorists. But so close to the seat of government, now the Brigade of Guards are being engaged. And well, the military, I think they have denied that any soldier is still missing in action. The deaths, the numbers varies from one paper to the other. The Nation newspaper also reporting that story is saying 2 officers, 6 soldiers killed in attack on presidential guards. Bodies of captain, lieutenant, others found. Bellow months with families, residents. Now, when the governor, yes, of Niger State warned that the terrorists were amassing somewhere in Niger State, not too far away from the Federal Capital Territory. nothing was done to take them out. Or so it seems. Now, these guys are having a free rein hitting at the Federal Capital Territory. Kuje Prison, now the Brigade of Guards being ambushed. What next? What needs to happen again before we know that these terrorists are having a free rein? We have a commander-in-chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, the president, but one cannot fail to ask the question, who is in charge of our security? Is that person sleeping? While all these are happening in our polity, but we just look at other stories because there are so many stories to look at in the newspapers. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, protest, government toying with an uprising like End SARS, NLC. Falana false federal government's claim on oil subsidy. Ganduje promises governor's intervention. Yes, while the Daily Independent newspaper reporting this story, workers threaten to shut down country if federal government ignore protest. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, let's look at the New Telegraph newspaper. Labor to federal government, resolve ASU strike now or risk total shutdown. We've been on this matter for the past 6 months, shouting from rooftop for federal government to find a solution to the lecturers' demand, although I always say that perhaps the lecturers also have to take one step back and reconsider so that they don't destroy what they are trying to save. But the truth is that in all this, the federal government seemed not to have put something clearly on the table. There was the committee set up by the federal government to iron out the difference, the BRICS committee. Now, what is the outcome of that report? What has the federal government put on the table so that Nigerians can see that they are making efforts? But in the absence of that, now, Labour has joined lecturers in solidarity because the students that are languishing at home, some parents like Ruben complain about the food they eat. But I think whether they are in school or they're at home, they will eat food anyway. So that is not the issue. The least of our problem is the food our children eat. The fact that they are losing the educational, the duration they ought to have spent in school. Many have turned 30 after spending 6 years in the university to do a course of 4 years, and they will not go for youth service because on account of that. Many have also dropped out of school thinking of something else instead of waiting endlessly for a federal government that pays little attention to educational matter. Of course, that is what we have seen so far. 6 months and counting, and the government is not blinking. We thought the president gave 2 weeks marching order, but they said, no, it's not the president who gave the order. It's me, the minister, who is saying I will do it in 2 weeks. So, is it saying that for the president, it can take as long as it takes for these lecturers to be on strike? Now, let's look at the foreign newspaper quickly. The Times of London, Sunak, I will ditch VAT on energy bills. Ex-Chancellor changes tack in the leadership race. Yes, Liz Truss clearly in the lead. Of course, that debate had to be aborted on account of the anchor fainting in the process. Of course, that I'm sure that will be rescheduled. But up till now, Rishi has resisted pressure to announce tax cuts. He's coming to the tax cut side gradually, if you will. Now, the Wall Street Journal, major brands keep raising prices as their costs grow. Well, for the consumers, they will continue to bear the brunt because as cost of production grows, they will simply pass the costs to the consumers, whether in the US or in Nigeria. Ruben Rufai, Antonio.
Well, I'm not sure we still have time.
Oh, okay.
It's already, almost top of the hour. But 2 things. When I talked about children consuming more food, That was meant to be a metaphor.
I know.
For the hardship, for the stress. That
True,
parents
I agree.
go through. And then secondly, front page of Daily Sun, Labour threatening to stop the 2023 elections. No, the right to protest is sacrosanct. Nobody should threaten to stop the 2023 general
Absolutely
election,
not.
whether it is Labour or other concerned Nigerians, for whatever reason. Because Nigerians want change, they want progress, they want to be able to use their voter's card. They should be allowed to do so.
We want to change as quickly as possible. So you want to stop election, you are delaying that change.
Elections must hold.
Election must hold.
Elections
That
must
one is a no-brainer. I think that was just a soapbox speech.
And we should not be having
no,
speeches
we
like
shouldn't
that
have
at a time
that.
like that. Let's focus on your focus like this.
In fact, if Labour starts talking about stopping elections, you will even be encouraging the terrorists.
Terrorists even more. So
You know.
please, elections must hold. Focus on the problems on ground. Simple.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Efeni, good to see you back.
Thank
and
you.
that everything is in a good place.
Cool.
Yes, very good.